is Giving Tuesday, which encourages people to give back on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. But if you're donating to a charity, how do you really know your money is being well spent? We're joined now live by ShelterBox USA President Carrie Murray with more. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So what is a good way to make sure your charity donations are going to a legitimate organization, you're not being ripped off?
Well, first, I would say do your research and make sure that you're working with a reputable charity. A good way to start is through the charity watchdogs. So going onto a site, free independent site like Charity Navigator, these organizations evaluate nonprofit organizations in the United States. So make sure that you have a charity that is doing good work, but is also financially transparent and also accountable to your donations. So first, do your research and use the charity watchdogs like Charity Navigator or the Better Business Bureau.
Okay, good tips. Is there a specific type of scam that these fraudsters use the most? And how do we know? What are the warning signs?
Well, unfortunately, there are just so many today, and they're getting more and more savvy. So everything from lookalike names, so organizations that look like the organization that you might be giving to. Also, organizations that might be asking you for cash, never give cash. Don't give gift cards. Also, be wary of ever wiring money to an organization. Writing a check or giving online is a good way, but there are so many scams today. And so you have to be very careful when you receive a phone call or a thank you card, making sure that it's the organization that you actually give to and you have a relationship with.
Okay, and so now tell us about your organization, ShelterBox USA, and where you're deployed right now.
So ShelterBox is a global humanitarian relief organization. We work all across the world, bringing emergency shelter and essential supplies to families who've lost everything in disaster or conflict situations. So we've been working very busy this year everywhere from Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, Hurricane Beryl in the Caribbean, to also conflict situations like you're seeing in Gaza, also in Ukraine. So we are tackling one of the biggest issues that's facing our world today, and that's global displacement. There are more people displaced than any time in recorded history. And as a relief organization, we're working to really meet one of your basic needs, which is shelter.
And it's a huge issue. There are more than 120 million people forcibly displaced on this planet right now. This is the most in world history ever. What is driving all this displacement?
So it's everything. It's everything from disaster, so typhoons and hurricanes, earthquakes. It's violent conflict, perhaps really the growing number of displaced in terms of tens of millions each year are forcibly displaced because of violence, like you're seeing in places like Syria, in Gaza, in Ukraine, but also the impacts of climate. And so really you have the trifecta of issues, and this is only making it worse. And this number is only going to increase in the hundreds of millions in the decades to come.
So a very worthy organization. How do you decide what to send to each place?
So really, we send unique custom packages based on the needs of the displacement crisis. It's always different. So in the case of North Carolina with Hurricane Helene, it was basic things like comforters, blankets, solar lanterns. There was contamination of the water source, so water filters. In the case of Gaza, it's really temporary shelters that people could move with. Over 90% of the population's been displaced, so things as they continue their displacement, they can actually bring with them, but also hygiene kits there, it's tents, it's the basics so they can survive what is a cold winter. So just even the winter months can seasonally change and shift the types of items that we're providing.
Yeah, it makes you reevaluate everything when you think of people who need these basic needs, and so many of them around the world. Carrie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Happy Giving Tuesday.
To you as well. Thank you.